Shirts, smooth and funky, and off the cuff on this Super Bowl Sunday. For those of you who tried listening into the show the first time, we had some technical difficulties here. Sorry about that. I ran out of tequila. No, that's not true. That's not true. I've got a great big bottle. But no, I don't know what happened, actually. And I found better music, so, it all kind of worked out. Welcome to Joe the Shirt's Off the Cuff. I am your host, Joe the Shirt. And you're most likely not listening to me right now. You're probably getting ready for the game. I don't know why you get ready for the game. You're not playing in the game. But no, my girlfriend and I, we got ready for it. The game we got ready for this morning and yesterday. We got ready for it, and by getting ready for the game, we all know what that means. Okay, it means food and drink. Okay, and I think that nothing says American more than watching elite athletes who have trained and worked out and worked hard and eat right. Nothing is more American than sitting on your big fat ass on the sofa and eating nachos and hamburgers and wings and. Nothing's more American than that, I think. Now, I'm not going to be talking football all that much because, this is not a sports show. But let's go over the quick stats for you guys out there who are into football, and then we'll move on to other things, all right? Okay, I'm looking at today's paper. They're talking about who's got the edge today. Now, I haven't looked at it yet, but in my opinion, edge goes to the Seahawks, and my score for today's game, 26-21, Seahawks over the Broncos. Okay, so now let's see what they have to say. I've not looked at this paper yet. All right, some what they believe is the edge from today's Sunday Times. Okay, in the Seahawks run offense versus the Broncos run offense, edge Seahawks. Seahawks pass offense versus the Broncos pass offense, edge Seahawks. In special teams, edge Seahawks. Broncos run offense versus Seahawks run defense. Edge Seahawks. And let's see. Well, this is sort of a wash almost. I say Broncos pass offense versus Seahawks pass defense. Edge Broncos. And in coaching, they give the edge to the Broncos, but their pick for the day is still, guess what? It's the Seahawks, 28-24. So not all that far from what I was going to go with anyway. Let's see here. Now, they also have some stats here. 3 Broncos players that you should know. Apparently, they believe that you should know who Trendon Holiday is. He's a receiver returner. Danny Trevathan, he's a linebacker. And Julius Thomas, who's a tight end. Broncos who must come through, of course. Peyton Manning is a quarterback. He better. Demarius Thomas, he's a receiver. And Terrence Knighton, he is a defensive tackle. These are the players that you should know and must come through big. If you're a big Seahawks fan, apparently you should already know this. But if you're not, you're like me, then this is what you want to know. Players that you should know. Clinton McDonald, he's a defensive tackle. Byron Maxwell, he's a cornerback. And Michael Robinson, a fullback. Seahawks players who must come through big today. Russell Wilson, the quarterback, makes perfect sense. Marshawn Lynch, running back. And, of course, the one and only Richard Sherman, cornerback for the Seahawks. These are the players I guess we are supposed to know. If you're on your way to a game a little bit with your friends, you're not a big sports fan, those are the players you want to know. These are the stats you got to know. And you mention something here and there, just throw that in here and there. You'll sound almost as if you know something about football. Oh, my God. It's going to be a short show today, guys. It's only going to be a 30-minute show. Sorry for that. But like I said, I'm going to watch the game too, okay? And I'm doing laundry. So, I gotta get my stuff out of the dryer. Got a lot of things going on with celebrities these days. The most recent one being today, you may have heard that Philip Seymour Hoffman has passed away with great dignity in his underwear in the bathroom with a heroin needle sticking out of his arm. Great dignity there, Philip. Way to go. Now, that may sound judgmental to some of you out there, but the fact of the matter is, That's not a surprise. He's had a long history of a drug addiction, a long fight with it. He was 46 years old. It doesn't shock or surprise me when, a movie star, TV star, rock star, pop star, any of these people, hell, an opera singer. I find out one of them was found, in their underwear in the bathroom, with a bunch of drugs. They found heroin all over his apartment. That's not a shock to me, not in the slightest. This is coming only 2 months after losing, what was that racer boy's name? That racer guy, he was in the Fast and the Furious. What was it, Paul Walker, was it? And look, it's sad that any human being dies. It's just not for me particularly sad that Philip Seymour Hoffman dies. He was a great actor. I didn't particularly like him. Now, please, let me split a hair here. I did not like him, but I recognize what a great actor he was because I've seen several of his movies, and in every single one of his movies, I hated his fucking guts, his character's guts. I wanted to punch his character dead in the fucking face, okay? Because he always played a dick or a schmuck or an asshole or a whiner I never found any character he played to be likable, which means he did his job perfectly, okay? He made the movie. And I don't mean that he was in it. I mean, he made the movie his, and he made you feel a certain way about him. And if you felt creeped out by him, then he did his job. If you felt like you hated his guts, you wanted to punch him in the face, he did his job. Those are the characters he played. He was more than anything. He was a character actor, and a lot of times character actors, by the definition, they're pigeonholed into these type of roles that we want to see people that look like them play. Philip Seymour Hoffman, not an attractive human being. Again, if you find that offensive in any way, I'm just stating my truth. My truth. Why am I going to Marianne Williamson seminars now? But he was a big, fat, ugly human being. I mean, he just was. That's not to say that he wasn't great at what he does. It's not to say that he didn't love his 3 children. But just that he wasn't particularly attractive. That's all. Not like Paul Walker, man. Shit. But, oh, come on, you don't listen to the show for me to be politically correct, okay? No, I will miss him in the movies. I will. Because, like I say, he did his job so well. You really felt it, For me, it was like watching Carol O'Connor in All in the Family. My mother hated Carol O'Connor because he was such an asshole on that show. And I'm like, Mom, that's his job. He's doing his job. His job is to be an asshole. And she goes, no, I think he does that too well. I think he really is like that. I'm like, Ma, you don't know that. No. Boy. If somebody acts like that all the time, that's what they're really like. I'm like, Ma, he's on a half-hour TV show. You don't know. But, that's my mother, okay? Things do not need to make sense to her. What else have we got going on here? We do have a lot more celebrity news here, which I do want to get through. But before I do that, and take our first break, really quick question for you guys. How long do you think it's proper to wait to take somebody's clothes out of the dryer? Because like I said, I am doing laundry, and I went downstairs, and somebody had their stuff there, and I waited 10 minutes, and they still weren't there, so I said, fuck it, I'll just come back. And then I come back like a half hour later. Their stuff is still in there. It's dry. And finally, I just took it out, put my stuff in, and I left. And then what's been known to happen in this situation is when I come back to pick up my stuff, they're still there for some God knows reason, And they're like, hey, did you take my stuff out of the dryer? I'm like, yeah, it's been a half hour. I mean, I think everybody should have a grace time, For if the dryer is 40 minutes or an hour or whatever, take 5 minutes. Okay, fine. You're 5 minutes late. That's fine. I don't expect you to be there on the dot. Maybe 10 minutes. But once it gets past a half hour, you're an asshole. In any case, that's what I wanted to put out there. I'm Joe the Shirt. I'm off the cuff, and I'll be right back. Music today being brought to you by Bob Johnson and the Funk Dogs. You recently heard their song BBQ, and this is their next bit, Bridge to Harlem. Enjoy. shirts off the cuff. All right, thank you, Bob Johnson and the Funk Dogs. The Funk Dogs is what they call themselves, the Funk Dogs. I'm talking a little bit about celebrities in the news lately. One of the biggest celebrities on TV ever is about to go away. That is the one and only Jay Leno of The Tonight Show. Jay has been hosting the show since 1992. Okay, the show's been in Burbank here in Los Angeles since 1972, and it's on its way back. I think, was it this month or next month, to be hosted by, of course, the one and only Jimmy Fallon. Jay's last show will be February 6th, which I believe is this Friday. I want you tell me, is it a sad day for everybody out there? I mean, the Tonight Show doesn't get the numbers that it used to, say, when Johnny Carson was on. But then again, that's pretty much impossible these days. Because back then, Johnny was really the only show in town. Sure, there were other shows like Merv Griffin and of course, David Letterman, there's Pat Sajak out there. Wait, Pat Sajak didn't have a talk show, did he? No. I'm thinking about somebody else. Even Arsenio back in the day, could attract really, really massive numbers, But, as of, the last couple of years, Jay's been averaging about 4 million viewers a night, which is, for today's audience, still really, really good. But it's not the audience that the networks want to attract. Let's face facts, everybody. We're all in some sort of demographic. And there's the most hotly, wanted demographic, which is, I believe, 18 to 25. 18 to 49, also very, very popular. But once you get beyond 49, they don't really care as much and don't feel like, putting on, TV commercials for Depends or, Butrin or anything other shit like that. So, Hollywood is a cruel town when it comes to aging. You get older, you become less relevant because, let's face facts, it's the younger people that tell us what's cool. That's really what happens, Young people tell the rest of us what's cool. I remember, when I first got my email, I was like, whoa, I got an email. I'm so happy. And that dates me right there. Okay. That tells you how old I am. It dates me. I finally got an email account. And then, by the time I'm really enjoying it, everybody's like, oh, you got to get a MySpace account. I'm like, what? Okay, fine. I'll go get a MySpace account. By the time I'm really starting to enjoy that, oh, you got to get a Facebook account. Nobody does MySpace anymore. And who's telling me this? A 14-year-old. And, I remember I had one 14-year-old tell me about a band that he liked. I had never heard of it, right? So, I picked up a tape, okay? I still had a cassette, okay? I picked it up, and another 14-year-old that I knew, okay, you're all wondering how I know all these 14-year-olds, okay? It's because they were my friends' kids, and I'd hang out with my buddies, and their kids would be there, okay? It's not like I'm some weird pedophile. And this one kid, he asked me about, what it was I was listening to on my my Walkman, and and I told him the name of the band. I don't even remember what the hell it was at this point. It may have been Green Day. I'm not sure. And he gives me this look, this incredulous look, and he's like, "How do you know who Green Day is?" And I was like, what? Well, dude, I'm all into that, man. Yeah, sure. What's your favorite song? And I told him what it was at the time. And again, he's giving me that agog kind of look, like, how dare you be into the same kind of music I am? You're not cool, I'm cool. And I think he went home and destroyed all of his Green Day CDs. Because, he had CDs and I still had, cassettes. That's the way it works. So yeah, it's a cruel way. It's a cruel town, man. Mind you, even I stopped watching Jay Leno a while ago. Not that I watch talk shows anymore. Not that I'm saying that you shouldn't listen to talk shows, especially mine. But, as I got older, I started to realize that today's movie stars, television stars, a lot of ways become less and less relevant to me. Even if I know who they are and I do watch their shows or listen to their music, it's like I don't really give that much of a shit about them anymore. Not like when I was young, when I was... when I had different aspirations, different views on life, they were relevant to me in some way. But, as you get into your late 30s, early 40s, you start to realize, wow, they're just as full of shit as anybody else I know, so fuck them. And speaking of somebody that's just as full of shit as anybody else you'll know, let's talk about Justin Bieber. As you all know, was recently arrested for the official... let's see, what was the official... let's see. The Canadian pop superstar was charged with resisting arrest without violence and driving with an expired license. Now, what actually happened... him and some rapper were drag racing their Lamborghinis in Miami. He was drunk. He had been smoking pot. He had been taking prescription pain, not pain medicine necessarily, but prescription drugs, and then decided to drag race his Lamborghini against this other guy's Lamborghini. But the charge is resisting arrest without violence and driving an expired license. Not all the other shit that actually did happen that was placed in the reports, but okay, let's go with that. You know what really pisses me off about this? Not that he's getting such a slap on the wrist. Not the fact that, over the last couple of years, he's had like a gang of other incidences that, have been kept either quiet or been dismissed, or he just, dealed his way out of it. What really pisses me off is that Justin Bieber was in jail, and I wasn't in jail with him. I mean, think about it. If there's ever a good time as a man for you to be in jail, it's when Justin Bieber is your cellmate. Okay? That's about as lucky as you're gonna get. That's basically, he walks into the cell and I'm like, sing a song for daddy, baby. No, I want you to dance like you do in them shows. Yeah. God damn it. How can I not be in jail the same time as Justin Bieber? Pisses me off. Oh, I'm sure they would not have put Justin Bieber in the same cell as me or anybody else. Actually, they didn't. When he came into his hearing, it was noted that he was wearing a red jumpsuit, whereas most other prisoners in the same jail have an orange jumpsuit. And that was to denote him as a very special, high-profile case wherein he was kept separated from the general population of the jail. Unfair, okay? I think you go to jail, you serve your time just like everybody else, and you take your lumps and my dick just like everybody else does. I know, I talk tough, don't I? But the fact of the matter is, if I ever went to jail, I'd be the biggest bitch in town. I'd have like a date every night of the week. Are you shitting me? I'm not a tough guy. More on Justin Bieber after this break, and more of Bob Johnson and the Funk Dogs and their song, Outback. I'm Joe the Shirt, and I'm off the cuff. The Shirt is off the cuff and not in jail with Justin Bieber. Poor me. Now, this whole incident here with Justin Bieber getting arrested is, they're calling it the culmination of the last couple of years. So among the things that have happened with Justin Bieber, not that all that long ago, last year, Bieber 19 Had been dogged by numbingly constant tales of his bad boy behavior, reported visits to strip clubs and a brothel in Brazil, urinating in a mop bucket at a New York restaurant, and leaping from a van to physically confront paparazzi in London. And then of course there's a more recent article of him allegedly throwing eggs at his neighbor's house, causing roughly $20,000 worth of damage. There's still no big break in the egging case, but they did find a whole bunch of drugs in his house. Lil Za was arrested during the search on drug possession. Like many of you out there, I love to see people crash and burn. Now, Justin, in his, I think he's got a movie coming out, he alleges that he's not going to crash and burn. He's not going to, be one of those statistics of, these young, music or TV or television or movie stars that, they get, they grow up to be super duper famous and don't know how to handle it. Then they turn to drugs and sex and alcohol. And I'm like, looking at this article, and I'm like, let's see, drugs, check. Sex, check. Alcohol, check. Driving while on drugs, check. Okay, and criminal behavior, such as, throwing eggs at people's houses and urinating in public. Like I say, I don't hold anything personally against Justin Bieber. I in this society that we live in, I actually do expect that famous rich people will get better treatment than the rest of us. That's just expected, whether it be a rock star or a politician. It's going to happen, all right? But what does bug me is when they expect our sympathy. I'm like, you fuck up repeatedly on stuff that I would be in jail for already. Okay, I could not get a suspended sentence. I would not be able to get what's it called? Anyway, I could not get all this type of special treatment that you would get, and then you want to bitch about it. You bitch to me, you bitch to us that it's not fair the way you're treated. Like when Paris Hilton went several times to jail, and then an hour after she goes in, she's coming out because allegedly it's too crowded in there. And I'm like, really? You didn't tell the first 200 chicks that came in that, did you? No. Anyway, that's enough about them. Here's a quick one for you. Scientists, a recent study, and I will get back to this study because I really want to read a lot more of it, have determined that the human race is actually part Neanderthal. More and more studies show that DNA from the extinct species is evident in many people today. Neanderthals are not fully extinct, if you will. They live in some of us a little bit today. And I'm like, you had to conduct expensive studies to figure that one out? Just go to your local DMV and you could have proved that theory right there. Be they the people in lines or the ones controlling the lines while doing their nails. That was proof positive right there. Let's talk about law a little bit. Let's see. New law in Los Angeles, in California, actually, forcing chefs, cooks, anybody that handles raw food of any kind, to wear gloves at all times. This includes, of course, sushi chefs, which is a big deal for them because part of what they do is touching the food, feeling the texture of the food, aligning like grains of rice so they all face the same way on the food. It's part of what they do, and now they have to wear latex gloves. Now this is a big deal, not just for sushi chefs, also for any type of dining whatsoever, where a real chef, from what I understand, I've worked with enough chefs, they like to feel their food. They like to touch their food. They like to know what's happening with it. So they can tell. The one chef was telling me, that she can tell the difference in a cheese just by touching it. Because that's a mozzarella. That's a she would just know, blind. She would just know what it is. And I agree with them. I think it's a bad idea. I think that they should be able to touch the food. I mean, they wash their hands, hopefully, and then a lot of food is going to get cooked anyway, so not that big a deal. But what's also, I think, is really funny is that they're now they're forcing bartenders in California. You guys are going to have to start wearing gloves because you, in fact, handle food. For instance, your limes, your lemons, your oranges, your olives, your cherries, your onions. You get the idea. So if you're handling food, you're actually touching it with your hands, with your fingers. Now you got to wear gloves. Now, the law went into effect January the 1st of this year, will not be strictly enforced, will not begin to be enforced until 5 months from now, actually, and then will not be strictly enforced until the year 2015 to get everybody up to speed of what it is they need to know. Personally, I just would think, you just tell them what they need to know, and then they either do it or they don't. I don't know why you're giving them a year-long grace period. Now, what I find really funny about this is Los Angeles in particular has put out a countywide no plastic bags law very recently, wherein no supermarkets or grocery stores are allowed to give you plastic bags. Not even Target can give you a plastic bag. Okay, you need to come in with your own bags, or you have to buy one of their bags, or buy one of their paper bags. But now, just in the sushi restaurant that I was just telling you about, the particular sushi chef, one particular restaurant, according to him, the cost of the latex gloves just for him and his son to use will run them about $4,000 a year. Now, when you consider that a restaurant barely makes any money at all, I mean, you may think that all those high prices you're paying is making somebody really, really rich. It's probably not. Not too often. Food cost is a really, really big deal, and a restaurant really runs by the skin of its teeth. And then to have to spend an extra $4,000 on gloves, that's a real hardship. Okay, that means that the cost has to come out of somewhere else. Either they're going to start charging you more money, or they're going to start cutting back on hours of their employees, maybe cutting back on their employees. So it's very hurtful. Oh yeah, and back to my original point. Actually, I'm sorry. Now this guy is going to have to go through roughly, he estimates, about 10,000 gloves a year. Okay, 10,000 gloves a year, but we can't have a plastic bag. And that's just one restaurant. And that is my time for today because, like I said, I got to get my laundry, and I'm going to watch the game just like you do, okay? You guys enjoy your Sunday, enjoy your Super Bowl. Don't eat too much, don't drink too much, don't take too many drugs, and certainly don't drag race your Lamborghinis. I'm Joe the Shirt, and I've been off the cuff. One more time, Line of Sight by Bob Johnson and the Funk Dogs.